Now we can see a practical example for create the loop. Loop is essentially you can repeat the keyframes and animation in the times more times without create a new keyframes. In other words, for example, we can see here we have our sphere, and we want is the sphere is jump, touch here the ground and come back. Ta, ta, ta. More times is bouncing in from one point A to point B with more times without create a lot of keyframes on timeline. There is two ways essentially for make that. One is more knowledge from more used because more people maybe don't know the original way, the second way I show you. Before I want to show you some little stuff very important because here we have our translate is 0, 0.5 and 0. I want to reset all and freeze this value to 0. I want this come back to 0. I can go here, for example, and say make as current value by default. But if I do that, all new object I create have this value. I want this value is 0, 0, 0. I can do here from this menu, drop down menu, clear translate. Clear translate is come back to 0, 0, 0. So now is like freezed the transformation I have here, and the position is 0, 0, 0. So it's very comfortable when you work. Another little things I told you, when I go here I can select the object in the viewport, and the null object I can select the null object. Essentially it's not true because here you can see I just did that. For don't selected your null object in the viewport, you can just go here in the mix tab, and here we can have viewport selection enabled. So I can select our null object in red. You can see here also I can hide the sphere. You can see I can select that. Also you can do that with in another way. Another way is on the node. You can have here in the network, you have this is selectable. You can just delete that. You can also, in this case not, because I don't have here other option, but in some case, for example, inside here you have more information. You can also have the freeze, the lock. You can lock this node. Okay, you can select table or bypass. In this case, you can see, or you have also the template is show every time this node if you have another node inside. By the way, we can, is not our argument now. We can start with this. We can move another view. For example, if I spacebar 2, I move it in the top. Spacebar 1 is the perspective. Spacebar 2 is the top. And spacebar 3 is the front. Spacebar 4 it's the right. You can go, for example, on the right or on the front. We can go on the front, for example. We can pan, and we can enable. Okay, if not selectable is not appear. You can see the handle of a transformation. You can have here, you can select, we can assign, for example, the first, can in this case for all. We can also press Alt and left mouse button for create, set the first frame, the keyframe here, we can move it. And when we work with the animation, we can, for example, 24. For create the curve, we need to have 3 points. For drawing the curve, we need 1 point here, 1 point here, and 1 point here. You can move it, for example, 12. And I can put here for, I can use a very integer number, okay? And we can move, for example, 24 here. 3, and now I know it's 0, the position, perfect position for touch the ground here, and I have this animation. Maybe we can say that it's moved to 6, so it's better now. And now if I press play, I can see only one time, but I want this animation is replicated and repeat for all my timeline. Okay, so I can go here, I can open my editor, I can copy, Control C, Control V, and I can copy, 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 copy. But this is very long work. Sometimes I can do that, sometimes maybe not. I can make the loop with two ways. One way is create the motion. The motion, I can go here, I can have the motion effects, and I can have the cycle, and with offset. The difference is a cycle is grab these two elements and is copy, 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 copy. And this is with offset is offset in the time. So for example, is not come back here, but is moved with another. It's like the bouncing. By the way, we can go here, motion, and we can choose cycle. When you choose cycle, you can see open the network. The new network is called the motion. With the motion, you can have here the cycle. And here you can working on the behaviors of your cycle. You can see here. Now if I press play, I can see my sphere is moved and come back, but in this kind is not come back here, it's come back from this point because the animation is not circular, perfect circular. Should be the perfect circular. By the way, this is the one way for create the loop. You can also, for edit, you can go here, you can see I have here change the color with the orange color here or orange bar here. You can just click here, motion, and you can edit, you can edit cycle, and you can edit the cycle here. And you can have here the motion chop in chop network because essentially is the chop. You can delete that because I don't want. Create this, you can see now I delete my effects here.